everybody, this is Pitch Cold Black here, and welcome back to Underworld. No, fuck. Welcome back to the Skull General Reviews episode 30, in which today I am going to be reviewing the Target novelisation of Inferno. Let us begin this review. So for the cover we have the 1980s Doctor Who logo in red, Inferno, Terrance Dicks, and then for the cover art itself, in the background we've got this sort of spiralling sort of rays of sort of heat and orange and red sort of spiralling out of a factory, one of the factory buildings in the background, with a bit of smoke in the background sort of shrouding the sort of factory, which you can see just in the background, just barely. And it's got much more of a futuristic vibe than it actually, and it's got a much more futuristic look than what it actually did on TV, which is awesome. And then you got then in the foreground you've got this railing with a Primord with sort of green slime on his jumper or his work shirt. And he's got sort of red eyes up there with all sorts of facial hair and hair going on his arms and stuff, looking very animal-like. And then for the spine we have Doctor Who Inferno, Terrance Dicks, W.H. Allen, as this is the hardback edition of the book. And then for the back we have just a blank orange back with £5.95 net, the original price, the ISBN number, and then the synopsis on this Doctor Who book. Inferno is the name of a top secret drilling project to penetrate the Earth's crust and release a major new energy source. A crisis develops when a noxious liquid leaks out of a drilling progress. The green poison has a grotesquely debilitating effect on human beings. As the Earth's plight worsens, the Doctor is trapped in a parallel world, unable to rescue the planet and its inhabitants from the destructive force of Inferno. And then for the innards, we have Doctor Who Inferno. The indication this poor bastard was thrown in the bin at some point. Doctor Who, based on the BBC television serial by Don Houghton, by arrangement of the British Broadcasting Corporation, Terrance Dicks, W.H. Allen, London, 1984. Various copyright and library guff there, and then a contents. This is a 119-page long Doctor Who book spread across 15 chapters. Presentation of this Doctor Who book out of the way with what is the general consensus and my own personal thoughts and opinions on Inferno Target novelisation. On Goodreads, this Doctor Who book has gotten mixed reviews with all kinds of ratings, with a lot of 3 stars, 4 stars and 5 stars. Do I agree with the general consensus? Let us find out. Season 7, Season 7, Season 7, Season 7, beautiful Season 7. I've probably just made any classic Doctor Who fan's day better just by reminding them that this season exists. This is practically the most acclaimed and well-known season of classic Doctor Who. Loads of people say praise this season to the rafters, and even some give it a perfect 10, with all stories getting the same rating. I personally give it a 39.5 out of 40, or a 9.9 out of 10, and I'll agree it's the best season of classic Doctor Who from what I have seen. As for story highlights, everybody has different opinions on how good each one is and which one is the best. Loads of people go for either one, with story out of this season being bashed or underrated is The Ambassadors of Death. Not necessarily a hated story, but more gets overshadowed by the rest of the season. Personally, the greatest story out of all of them is Inferno. No other story like this, all seasons included, is as different as this one. In this story we literally get to see the destruction of planet Earth and the parallel evil versions of what characters were used to being good guys, which makes it just such a brilliant story. It really tips you on your head and just makes you question a lot. It's such a refreshing Doctor Who story in the run of the show. with one of the greatest musical scores in Doctor Who history, some of the best acting, some of the best writing in the show's history, and with one of the greatest cliffhangers ever with episode 4. This story will always stand out as a true masterpiece of Doctor Who for me personally. In all of that being said, you can tell Terrance Dicks had a lot to live up to, and he delivered. The characters are just as menacing and as brutal as they're on the screen. The intensity is just intense as it was, and overall it just feels like a perfect book adaptation of the original source material. So you may think this is something along the lines of the Robots of Death or Celestial Toymaker adaptations for me. It is, but what boosts this story from a 9 to the rating I give it is that Terrance somehow managed to make the original story even better by making it even more apocalyptic than what it was on screen, with a paragraph that details what the neighbourhood is witnessing with regards to the destruction of the facility in the parallel world. Believe it or not, this is the 13th Doctor Who book out of the 90 plus that I have read that gets a 10 out of 10. This is a primary example of a great Target novelisation, and in my opinion is in my top 5 Target novelisations of all time. If I was ever to do a guide on what Target novelisations to go for, this will be in there. It is such a freaking amazing Target novelisation, and if you like your Target novelisations and you enjoyed reading them and you're a massive fan of them and you haven't read this one yet, you need to read it in my opinion, as this is such a freaking good Target novelisation. It's just absolutely incredible, and it's wonderful to have a somehow even more apocalyptic version of Inferno, which was pretty apocalyptic on its own on the original TV version, but as I said, Terrance Dicks makes it even more apocalyptic and somehow even better than what it was on TV, which is just amazing. Overall, this book gets a 10 out of 10, and if you're a fan of the Target novelisations, I simply cannot recommend it enough. So like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this Skulls General Reviews episode 30. So like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pitch Gold Black, dematerialized.